Pokemon FireRed is considered to be one of the easiest games to Nuzlocke according to most people, but I wanted a chance and I also wanted to beat FireRed for the first time, so today I will be doing a hardcore Nuzlocke with only rock type Pokemon. Now you may be wondering, how will I beat Misty? Good question. Normally I would only have a Geodude before Misty, which is basically impossible. So what I've done is I've allowed myself to use Mystery Gift Pokemon, which takes us from 6 rock types in general and up to 11 rock types. Though I can only get 1 fossil from Mount Moon, and I can only revive 1 fossil at Cinnabar since according to my rules I can only catch 1 Pokemon per area, which includes gifts and mystery gifts. Alongside the 1 Pokemon per area rule, we have if a Pokemon faints it can no longer be used, no items in battle, I must play on set mode, no over leveling past the next gym leader's ace Pokemon at the start of the battle, and I can only use rock type Pokemon at the first possible moment. Now with all the rules done, we can finally start. I name myself Pla and my rival Goomy because foreshadowing. I then get my starter, a Charmander, which is definitely a rock, trust me. And with said rock I squish Goomy's Squirtle, which will give us a somewhat difficult rival fight, but not too hard like if he had a Bulbasaur. I then spend 5 minutes trying to find the words for the Pokemon to unlock mystery gifts to give us our first encounter, which our options are Shuckle, Lunatone, Solrock, Regirock, and Corsola in an egg. Of course we can't use Regirock since it's level 40, and I know some people have no legendaries as part of their rules, but personally I will only use them if I only have less than 6 Pokemon, which I think is fair. And then Corsola hatches from the egg with the ability Natural Cure, which is much better than Hustle. I decided to name it Coral as my first encounter in Viridian City, with Lunatone in Pewter City. To nobody's surprise, I sweep Rock with Corsola's bubble, giving us the Boulder Badge and TM for Rock Tomb. In Mount Moon, I find and catch a Geodude named Cobblestone. I know, it's the most creative name. I then fight and beat the Fossil Maniac to get the Dome Fossil, which is my favourite fossil Pokemon. We are then faced by a rival Goomy, who sends out Pidgeotto, which I plan for by sending out Cobblestone. I then get hit by a Gust because most rock types are really slow. I go for Rock Throw, which rock types attacks aren't very accurate, so what are you going to do about that? I then go for another Rock Throw, which actually hits this time, so that's pretty good. He goes for a Quick Attack to get me to around 3/4 of my HP, and I kill with Rock Throw. He then sends out Squirtle, which I pivot to Coral to survive some hits, but I can't do anything with Tackle, so I try with Lunatone, but he gets a crit, so I go to Shuckle. I try to use a Wrap for some chip damage, but my damage isn't good enough and I inevitably lose. Attempt 2, we make it back to the rival fight with the same Pokemon and abilities. This time I lead with Lunatone to Rock Throw Pidgeotto, but it Sand attacks us and Lunatone disobeys twice in a row, but the next time I kill the stupid bird. Goomy sends out the killer of our last run, but we ain't gonna lose. I tried to put it to sleep, but Lunatone wants revenge, which leads to the tiny turtle getting confused, so I do what the Moonrock wants and spam confusion, but I get too low on HP so I have to pivot to the Coral, which if I'd leveled up one more time it would have gone recover level 17, which means we could have still been on a 10th run, but Coral has Natural Cure in this attempt, which means we aren't going to miss any attacks, which is vital for Misty, since it's already a luck based battle. We then face off against Goomy's Abra, which can't do any damage, so we get a free heal off with Recover to kill it with 3 bubbles, which leaves just Rattata, which I can easily kill with Cobblestone. We now begin the hardest fight of our run, being the Water Gym, which I'm not even going to sugarcoat. It took us 10 attempts, not including the resets to get Natural Cure Corsola, since I have to get lucky with confusions from Water Pulse, and my pure laziness to get Secret Power for Corsola to help store Water Pulse PP. Onto the winning Misty fight. Misty raises her defense with a Harden whilst I go for a Secret Power for around a third. She goes for a Water Pulse, which does a little bit of damage, and my Secret Power paralyzes her Staryu, which lets me kill it the next turn. Misty sends out the killer Decagon, who outspeeds to do 1/3 of my HP, whilst I only do 1/5. I then start spamming Recover whilst getting critted until I can get back to full HP to hit 1 Secret Power, because I am again critted 1 turn later. So I have to spam Recover again so I can hit 1 Secret Power before getting back to recovering to full HP, because I get Misty to use 1 Super Potion to get herself back to full HP. But finally, I paralyze the Wet Frisbee, who gets another crit and confuses me, which I have a Person Berry for, but it doesn't even matter because a few turns later, I get confused again. So I switch to Shuckle to tank a hit with its high special defense, but it just goes for recover and Shuckle disobeys, which leads to Shuckle taking nearly half of its HP thanks to it having 20 base HP. So I switched back to Coral since I don't want Shuckle to be hit by Starmie's genuine crit luck, but if it did crit, Corso would have died, which is risky, but it doesn't get the crit off, letting me get 2 recovers off, since Starmie has run out of water pulses and now starts to get fully paralyzed, which lets me spam Rock Tomb and a crit secret power to kill Starmie, who kept spamming recover, but I would never do that. After getting through that hell of a battle, we can add Solrock to our team, who just murders Gumi's rat. We also can add the second rock ground type of Kanto, being Onyx, better known as Mewtwo, but we'll call them Deep Slate. Lieutenant Surge got hit by the Cinder Block of a beast known as Cobblestone, hitting 3 magnitude 9s in a row, even through Surge's double team, and we were rewarded for such luck with a Graveler. Now, I spent a while planning on how to beat Erica, and here's what I came up with. Gambling. Well, not really, because I used Cupid's rule of if you can infinitely grind for it, you can cheat infinite of it in. Same reason why I use rare candies, because grinding is cringe and cheating is base, but it mainly saves time. I lead with Lunatone to kill Victory Bell with Psychic from Mr. Psychic in Saffron City. I then switch to Shuckle to PP Steel Giga Drain since Lunatone doesn't kill and I can do chip damage to put it into Psychic range, which lets me kill Tangler with an Ice Beam from the TM from the casino. Giovanni got destroyed with the combined power of Coral and Cobblestone, whilst Gumi gets even more trauma when I lead with Solrock, but then I just use Coral to blast Gumi with rocks, bubbles and chunks of ice. In the Safari Zone, I find Rhyhorn, who has high attack and defense like most rock types, but Rhydon has the second highest attack set for a rock type in Gen 3, only behind Tyranitar, and it's gone. After losing one of our few good rock types, I decided to evolve Gravel into Golem to have a decent rock ground type, before fighting our rival Gumi, again with mostly Coral and Lunatone, Coral doing most of the heavy lifting. We use our newly evolved Golem to Magnitude Nidorino, Nidoqueen, Brick Break Kangaskhan and Magnitude Rhyhorn. We fight Sabrina first since Solrock can no-call our Pokemon, being Shadow Balling the Kadabra, Rock Sliding the Venomoth, and Shadow Balling both Mr. Mime and Alakazam to get us to level 43, to learn Solar Beam and earning us the Carmine TM, which will be useful later. It turns out it didn't really matter who I fought first since the opposite Space Rock can sweep the gym with one Psychic on everything except Koga's Mark, which can tank it hits to set up one Minimize and then use a Hyper Potion, but Lunatone doesn't miss and gives us the clean win. We add Obsidian the Aerodactyl to the team after surfing to Cinnabar Island, replacing Deep Slate for now. Staying on Cinnabar Island, we fight Blaine, who gets a flinch on the first turn on Coral, but that can't stop Coral from sweeping with Surf, who at this point I've used the EV items from Celadon on all my Pokemon, maxing out any EVs. Giovanni gets swept by Lunatone using Ice Beams and Psychics to OHKO all of them. To be honest, this is kind of getting easy now. Since the level cap is 60, we can overlevel our team compared to Gumi's and sweep his team with just Lunatone, except at the end when I use Solrock to Shadow Ball on Alakazam, which will be the last time you see of it because I accidentally overleveled it using a rare candy. My bad. Our final team is Obsidian with a Brave Nature holding the Hardstone from Wild Onyxes using Thieves with Obsidian with the moves of Max PP Ancient Power, Aerial Ace, Earthquake and Double Edge to take advantage of its ability Rockhead, which prevents recoil. We have our main special attacker Lunatone with a Serious Nature holding the Twisted Spoon from using Thieves from Wild Abras and the ability Levitate with the moveset of Psychic, Hypnosis, Ice Beam and Cosmic Power. We have our starter Coral with a Hasty Nature holding a Hardstone with the ability Natural Cure because Hustle sucks and a moveset of Surf, Ancient Power, Ice Beam and Recover. We have our only Pokemon who has evolved this run, being Cobblestone, with a Hasty Nature and also holding a Hardstone, and its ability being Sturdy, which isn't like current day Sturdy sadly, so with the moveset of Earthquake, Rock Slide, Brick Break and Return. We have our unintentional E4 teammate of Deep Slate the Onyx with a Naughty Nature and holding the Quick Claw. If you know, you know. Ability also sadly being Sturdy, with the poorly made moveset of Rock Throw, Dig, Sandstorm and Double Edge. We have our tankiest of tanks, also known as Shuckle, with a sassy nature and holding the Chesto Berry, and also with Sturdy because half our team needs Sturdy, I guess. Its moveset consists of Toxic Stall, Resto Chesto, Wrap for chip damage and Encore for better stalling. Our first battle is against Lorelei. We lead Obsidian to Ancient Power the Dugong, getting a clean Oak on the first turn. She sends out Cloyster, who has the highest Gen 1 defense, so she survives an Ancient Power to set up a Hail, which lets her use up her Forester whilst we fish for Omni Boost with Ancient Power. But she also has Protect to get more chip damage on us, but the next turn we crush her Cloyster. Lorelei sends out Jinx, who dies to an Ancient Power. She then sends out her final Pokemon, Lapras, which I do the calculations for, which says Lapras should die, but it survives on low red to put me into low red, and then she lets me put her back into low red after she uses a Forester, so then I finish her off with an Aerial Ace. She also had Slowbro in the back, so I just switched to Shuckle to Toxic Stall and Coral to get a Deathless Battle. Also, it's technically possible to get Infinite Ethers in the Underground Path 5 to 6, and I switch Aerodactyl's Hardstone for Sharkbeak, which can be stolen from Fearos. This is also how I got infinite money. But for Bruno, I lead with Lunatone, since he leads with an Onyx, which I just Ice Beam to kill. And Bruno has the smart idea to send out a second Onyx, who also dies to an Ice Beam. And Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee and Machamp all died to a Stab boosted, Twisted Spoon boosted Psychic for the clean win. For the upcoming Agatha fight, I realized I should just teach Lunatone Calm Mind. Agatha's first Gengar, Golbat and Arbok gets OHKO'd by Lunatone's Psychic, and Agatha's second Gengar outspeeds to put me to sleep with Hypnosis, and then gives me Nightmares and puts me to low with a Shadow Burst, but the next turn I OHKO her last two Pokemon with Psychic. We heal up Lunatone and equip both Lunatone and Coral with a Never Melt Ice, courtesy of wild dugongs found in Seafoam Island. Against Birdkeeper Lance, we lead Lunatone yet again to put Gyarados to sleep, and set up two Calm Minds and a Psychic whilst getting nibbled, but Lunatone got a special defense drop, so when Lance heals we can just OHKO the Water Dragon, which lets us Ice Beam both Dragonairs, Dragonite and Aerodactyl, even when it got an Ancient Power Omni Boost. We make no changes in items, the final battle begins. First turn we go for an Ancient Power which nearly kills Pidgeot, and luckily it only goes for an Aerial Ace, and the next turn he heals Pidgeot, but I get the kill with a high Ancient Power roll. Gumi sends out Blastoise, so I pivot out to Coral, who takes a Hydro Pump which does a bit under half, so I go for Recover to stall out his Hydro Pump PP. But then he goes for Rain Dance, which for some reason I just go for Ancient Power, but he hits me for a Rain boosted Hydro Pump, which takes me down to 46 HP. But I get the Omni Boost with Ancient Power, but he's now out of Hydro Pump PP, so he can only hit me with weak bites, which lets me get back to full HP. I go back into Obsidian to go for more Ancient Powers, fishing for an Omni Boost, but I don't. But at least his Citrus Berry takes his Blastoise out of Healing Rage, getting a crit. I switched to Shuckle because Lunatone is kinda over leveled, which I know I could still use Lunatone because the level cap only applies for when you just enter the league, but I wanted to try and not use it for the champion fight. Rhydon uses Rock Tomb to do a little less than a third to Shuckle, which lets me get off an Encore when it uses Earthquake, so I send in Aerodactyl to get off an Earthquake, which if I had played Leaf Green I could have gone the Soft Sand from Mars Sandslash, but it doesn't matter since I get to kill Rhydon without getting hit. Gumi sends out Alakazam, which I get to low red with Ancient Power, but he also gets me to low red, so I go for an Ancient Power, which I'm now out of Ancient Powers, and he uses up most of his full restores. Now, with all the ranges I've been getting with Obsidian, I use a calculator to see if Aerodactyl kills Exeggutor, and it says that I always kill it, but it seems I've gotten my maths wrong since Obsidian dies, and that's the first death of the run. I contemplate using Lunatone, but I decided to go for Deep Slate to outspeed it and kill it with Double Edge, but he has another full restore, meaning Deep Slate would die, but not before I get a sandstorm up for the special defense boost. So I decide I may as well use Loon Tone, otherwise I'll probably wipe. I use an Ice Beam to get to low red again, and it uses Sleep Powder, sealing the fate of the run. Except it misses, meaning we can get off another Ice Beam and letting me get off a strong Psychic. I realised that I haven't used Cobblestone once during the Elite Four, so I switch him in using a devastating Earthquake to finish off the Arcanine, winning us the run. I have a few closing words I want to say before this video ends. Do I? Not really, but I want to get a few things across. This video has taken a while to make, that mainly being procrastination and other things. Like, I started this run and finished this run within like a week of 2024 during November, and now it's like the end of February. I also did this run because Chaotic Meatball's Nuzlocke spreadsheet, and I wanted to do an easy-ish one, so I feel like I've done something for it. And if you've been wondering what I'll be doing next, most likely I will be on Twitch grinding Wolf Flesh speedruns to get a sub 16 run, so yeah. But if you want to know what Nuzlocke I'll be doing next for the spreadsheet, then you might catch me doing Pokemon Legends Arceus with Dragon types only, because I've already done an easy Nuzlocke being FireRed, so why not go for the harder ones against Volo. Anywho, enough yapping, I'll see you next time, if I feel like it.